Happy FinTech Fridays, everybody. We're back for another episode, and today I'm joined by Chris Merakian. I
Right.
practiced that in my head like three times.
You got it.
Chris, you lead enterprise sales for TrustEngine, and we've been knocking around together at a bunch of the same conferences, having some pretty cool conversations. And I've done a few of these with Dave Savage, of course, at TrustEngine, and he and I never get into some of the details that I want to get into with you. But first of all, welcome to my little podcast.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So let's start a little bit with your background. How long have you been with TrustEngine, and what were you up to before?
Yeah, so I started, well, at the time, 3.5 years ago, was mortgage coach. Yeah, so I've been here 3.5 years. And before that, I worked for a company based in Boston, a company called the Warren Group. And I was doing something similar. I was selling real estate and loan originator data to mostly local lenders. So I had a lot of connections in the Northeast, and we ended up doing a deal and having national data and started doing that as well. Yeah, made the change and talked to Dave. We hit it off and been here for 3.5 years.
Nice. So I introduced you as TrustEngine. You already threw out the mortgage coach, and so let's let's kind of rewind the tape a little bit for folks so that those that aren't aware of the lineage, the histogram of how mortgage coach became TrustEngine. Kind of take us through that for the audience.
Yeah, so the company is TrustEngine. So about 2 years ago, Mortgage Coach and Sales Boomerang got backed by the same company. And we really had the no borrower left behind kind of a mentality. So we said, we should combine forces here. So we did. We merged and then eventually became rebranded. We're now TrustEngine. We have the TrustEngine platform, which we're selling right now, and we have Mortgage Coach as a standalone and Sales Boomerang as a standalone. So the Mortgage Coach is now the product where TrustEngine is the company.
And the same would be true for Boomerang, right? So today I can purchase a license to Mortgage Coach. I can purchase a license or access to Sales Boomerang, the
Yep.
product, and I know this is what you're focused on, and or I can subscribe or have a subscription to the platform, which is, I'm guessing, the combination thereof, plus maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like Sales Boomerang on steroids.
Yeah.
And it includes Mortgage Coach in the package. So, Mortgage Coach was more like trigger leads, and we've gone beyond that where we're predicting, ingesting the customer's data, and we're able to predict refis and purchases. And we have our own app where the LO is able to actually go on there and really know what their day is going to be instead of just kind of calling here and there. Now they have their whole database. We let them know somebody's ready for a move up, move down, what have you. We have scripting. Here's what to say. And, whether it's email, text, phone. And really, they had the reason, whereas the trigger leads are more like, here's a cash out. This is a cash out alert. Now it's really up to the LO to call and find out why it's a cash out. Now they have the why behind it. At its core, it could be a cash out, but we know that this person is living in a condo. They've had a second child in the last, 3 to 6 months. They have this much tappable equity. This is like a move up opportunity.
Right.
Here's the language that you can use to speak to them. A lot of LOs just, they don't know what to say. Even if they know what the opportunity is, they don't know what to say. And so we're trying to make their job as easy as possible. And this always comes up. You and I have talked about this, LO adoption. And so make it as easy as possible for them, so they really don't have to do that much.
Yeah, and I think you guys take it a step beyond the ease. I love the scripts. I've seen the app in action. I've seen Mr. Savage kind of do his magic. It is super cool, right? It's like when I think of, like, in my mind, when I hear mortgage coach, first of all, probably when any of us hear mortgage coach, we think of Dave Savage, right? So
Of
he's
course.
kind of that's the persona that he's created for himself in our industry. He, in my mind, is the mortgage coach.
He's a walking brand. Yeah.
That's right. And now when I think about what you all have done with the mobile app, and just to be clear for the audience, when we're talking about a mobile app, this is the mobile app that is for the loan officer.
Correct.
So now this is how my little brain works. Now, when I hear a TrustEngine, the platform, the products, and the mobile app, basically every loan officer is walking around with a mortgage coach in their pocket on their phone who's constantly, perpetually analyzing their data, their database, identifying opportunities, not only surfacing them up, like hey Chris, good morning. Here's the five people you should reach out to, but it goes deeper than that. It's here's the five people and here's what you should say based on what their data tells us. That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, exactly. And even if there was just Mortgage Coach, they're still able to have a Mortgage Coach app.
Right.
Right. And so most of the LOs that are using Mortgage Coach are actually doing that instead of like desktop or laptop. So yeah, LOs are always on their phone, right? Doing business. So we want to be right where they are, right? And not have to have them sign into another platform, something like that. So yeah, it's the ease of use for them. And then, of course, we want them to be giving advice and talking about strategy rather than what other LOs are doing, which is, here's a fee sheet, here's a spreadsheet, here's the rate, here's the cost to close, which are important, but there's more to it than that. And so we want them always educating the borrower, and having the Mortgage Coach platform helps create the conversation. So it makes it easier for the LO as well.
Yeah. When I think of the TCA, right, the total cost analysis, and first of all, I remember it from its earliest days, and it's pretty remarkable to where it's come today and how it's delivered not just to the LO but ultimately to the consumer.
Yeah.
But based on what you're describing, what I hear is the average loan officer is kind of forced to talk about rates and fees, because what else do they have? And what you all arm your loan officer users with is all the same information, the rates and the fees, but in the context of a conversation that is going to be most meaningful for that consumer. Anybody can, flash their rate sheet or point somebody to your point of sale where they can get their rates, but it's really, the role of the loan officer to me is, I say this a lot, it is the loan officer in their local community is the most critical component for financial literacy, financial education, financial preparation for any home buyer, but especially first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
Your platform makes it consistently easy for them to have meaningful conversations that have a lot of context related to that consumer.
Yeah, and we try to visualize it as much as possible. Most people are visual learners, right? So to your point, we have all that information as far as the rate and cash to close, all that information. But then on the right-hand side of the presentation, we visualize it with charts. So they can actually see, okay, well, if you can do up to 4 different scenarios. With this scenario, here's the short-term and the long-term impact. Here, first-time home buyers, as you mentioned, really important. A lot of them don't understand this stuff. So let's simplify it as much as possible, visualize it so they can understand it, be empowered to make a confident decision, and show them, okay, here's let's say in a first-time home buyer, 5 to 7 years. This is your net worth.
Yeah.
Right. So this is, if you're still renting, say you have, I don't know, $10,000 in the bank. Well, if you go with these options, the equity that you accrue could be, whatever, 20,000, 30,000,
Sure. Yeah.
whatever the scenario is. So yeah, we're trying to make it as simple as possible and educate as much as possible.
And it all aligns with, what we hear Dave talk about, which is the modern mortgage loan officer. Kind of go up a level and talk about the TrustEngine as a platform, and the different factors, I guess, that you all are able to ingest and then analyze and read out or report back to a lender on.
Yeah, I think the common misconception is when we say we want your data, is the lenders say, okay, yeah, we'll give you our close funded, within the last 5 so years. And that's great. We want that. But it also means we want your denials. We want your prospects. Like, we want everybody. So we're able to now kind of put that into our our machine, right? And let us and do a couple things. One, as we already mentioned, let the LO know who's ready for a loan, which loan they're ready for, why, and here's what to say. We also have the ability to do marketing for them on their behalf. So we can actually send out marketing materials to the borrowers based on their specific scenario. So what we don't want to be is like a CRM where it's like a drip campaign where everyone's getting the same message, right? And it's like happy birthday and hey, Valentine's Day is coming up, here 3 ways to blah blah blah. We don't want that. I think what we don't want to happen is one, the borrower to start just none of this is relevant, so we're going to just delete your email whenever I see it, or worse, unsubscribe. We don't want that to happen. We want to get in front of them with if it's a move up, we want that language, and we want to get in front of them with that language for, maybe 3, 4, 5 days. Get in front of them and then stop. We don't want to create noise, and that's been really effective for us. And like I said, because we personalize it, we're getting a lot of great results. So there's that. There's the marketing piece. Again, just ingesting the data, and it could just be there's different levels. It could just be data. Right? We're giving you who's ready for a loan, and then we're pushing that into your CRM, and you do whatever you need to do with it. So there's different levels and obviously different price points. But yeah, I mean, it's really ease of use. It's like we want to make it easier for the lender and for the LO and for the borrower, really. They're speaking my language. Like,
Right.
yes, like I just had a kid and, I got this email about, growing families are facing, stressful financial, times. And so that, we've all been there where you get emails from, are just to stay in front of you. Well, sometimes just staying in front of them, but if it's not relevant information, it's doing more harm than good.
Right.
And we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, I think all of us as consumers, right, we've evolved immensely, and we almost expect our financial partners to engage us, but engage us with on a very personal level and a very contextual level. And I think that's what you guys are really pulling off. There we go.
Yeah.
I'm always waiting for that
We were talking about my
viral
daughter,
cat visit.
it was a cat.
I love it. There's a first, folks.
I was trying to in the back, walk her from having.
No.
She got it.
Once you do that, she's making the leap. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, the contextual, personalized messaging that's data driven, I think, is huge.
My daughter just walked in. This is why I laughed. Don't come in, but no. I'm sorry. So what did you say? I just started laughing.
No, just kind of reiterating or poking a layer deeper on what we as consumers expect from marketers.
Yeah.
Right. And especially marketers that happen to be part of our financial life. We expect them to know about us. We expect them to engage us with relevant contextual messaging that is personalized. And I think that's what you guys are really empowering lenders and loan officers to do.
Exactly. And to know that information, but to not be creepy about it.
Yeah.
Hey, I know you just had your second child. Like, you don't want to come out with just that, but
right.
Language surrounding that, absolutely. You want to talk about their current situation.
You brought up a good point, kind of that big brother-ish risk, right? Does that come up in conversations with loan officers in particular, where they're like a little bit hesitant to fully turn things on, or not so much?
When I'm talking about this with lenders, so it's usually we start with the head of production or someone like that. And so when I'm talking about it with them, it has come up in the past. It hasn't lately, but usually on the marketing side, they'll come up and they'll go, okay, well, we work with you, but we don't want to creep anybody out. Do they get it? Do they freak out when they get that? And we're like, no. We can show you the scripts that we use, and it's specifically not doing that. Like, we don't want to drive away people. And yeah, we want to know their situations so that the LO can have a good conversation, know exactly what's going on, but don't be so blunt about it. Yeah. But yeah, it does come up every once in a while.
Yeah. We're doing different things at our companies, but we have a lot of the same or similar conversations. I always revert back to you can't, as a loan officer, you can't say you have these great relationships with your clients and then not be comfortable having certain conversations, because those two things don't jive.
Exactly. And if you're an LO and you have a big book of business or just a large database, it's almost like, if you have 5,000 records or what have you. It's impossible to stay in front of everybody. And we get that. So we said, let us do that for you. And we'll let you know when they're ready. You don't have to be in front of them all the time. So yeah, it's working great. And again, with the surprising thing with Mortgage Coach, we have a video component that's embedded right in Mortgage Coach. And two things. One, it's a better customer experience, right? They're being taken care of. It looks like the LO took a lot of time to put a presentation together where we integrate with a lot of tech, whether it be Encompass, OB, what have you. So that's what makes Mortgage Coach nice, quick and easy. You're able to learn it pretty quickly, but if you can have those integrations, even better. It cuts it down dramatically. And we have that video component, which humanizes the experience, right? So a lot of LOs are not talking to their clients face to face. So this is a chance to create a video, summarize what you put together for them. And the video, is going to be the same, whether they share it with somebody else or their financial advisor, it's saying the same thing. So they don't have to try to regurgitate what I said to them over the phone. And what I loved hearing when I first got here is LOs that use Mortgage Coach. They've won deals because of Mortgage Coach in general, but put the video on top of that and it's even higher than that. And they're like, I was even a quarter point higher than, a competitor, but they knew that I was taking care of them. They understood everything because it was visualized and I gave them a nice presentation. It just looked more
professional.
And they've won deals where they're a quarter point higher, that's great to hear. That's the customer experience that I was talking about.
Yeah, I think I did a LinkedIn post the other day on this.
I told you. I told you. So for those of you watching, I told Brian at the beginning of this, my daughter, straight A student, but doesn't know how to listen to me.
No.
Don't know how that is. But we also talked about softball. He's an ex-baseball player. He can give you some pointers.
I love it. We got the kitty cat visiting and the daughter. It's a loaded show today.
I have one more cat here and my wife upstairs. So I mean,
let's bring them all in.
Who knows?
We'll have the Mirakian party.
Yeah. All right, now beat it.
Chris, man, this has been awesome. I love going a layer deeper in TrustEngine. Like I said, Dave and I talk all the time. You and I have had plenty of conference lobby conversations, but it was good to go a layer deeper. And I'm hopeful our audience picked up some new tips on the TrustEngine platform and of course, the Mortgage Coach product and the Sales Boomerang product. Appreciate you coming on here, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and I'll have to talk to Dave. We'll have to get you onto a Mortgage Coach interview very soon.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think I've been in. He's got so much going on. I think I've done a Tuesday. I don't know, the 10X Tuesday, and I've done a Friday something or other. Every time I go on one of his shows, my followers pick up by 200. So I'm always open for that.
All right, let's make it happen again.
Chris, thanks again, man. And everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of FinTech Fridays. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thank you.